Okay, my name is Billy Hughes. I'm here on behalf of the procurement department. We're going to be talking to you about renewable energy. Just to define that, renewable energy is solar, wind and geothermal energy. Non-renewable is obviously oil, gas and coal. Right now our company is completely reliant on non-renewable energy. So we're going to be talking today about another alternative. So just a quick agenda. So just so you know, I am actually a self-confessed environmentalist, but today I'm actually going to be presenting a business proposition. This isn't essentially going to be an ethical presentation, more on the adding value to the corporation. So why I think there is a need for change is that right now we're obviously completely reliant upon energy for every single activity of our operation. So there isn't a single thing that we can do. Indeed, this presentation couldn't happen without energy. But we do have this kind of mindset that it's cheap and abundant, and you just flick the switch and it comes on. So right now, the market is shifting in energy. There's so much unpredictability, and it's becoming a lot more costly. So right now the market is going to be changing dramatically enough. We're going to have an example just to show you how unpredictable it's going to be. And just to show you historically, it's outpaced inflation rate by about 2 to 3 times. And it's and right now there's a whole new lot of regulations coming in to different states and then to federal. And essentially what those state regulations are doing is trying to make sure that a certain amount of non-renewable energy is actually decreased and turned into renewable energy. So there's actually going to be a forced cost increase in energy market just because of this new legislation. The big example is right now California. They've actually enacted regulation. They've actually stated that by 2020 they're going to have 33% renewable energy, and essentially that's going to actually increase costs by about 40% on non-renewables, so coal, as they're trying to fund this legislation through this by having a premium price attached to non-renewable energy. So I'd just like to have a little exercise here, and I'd like you to see if you can kind of guess the predicted price of a barrel of oil in 2040. Okay. Does anyone have any guesses?
180.
210.
You can give me a percentage range if you would like. Anything else? Anyone think it's going to go down? No. All right. Okay. Oh, I forgot that one come through. I apologise. All right. So this is actually from the Energy Information Administration, and as you can see, this is their best estimate as of 2011. The high is about 150% increase, the low is about minus 20%, and right now we're not actually even close to the low oil, as you will probably know, paying gas. So this is about as close as they come, and they couldn't even come to this close of a consensus for natural gas or for coal. So it just shows you how unpredictable and how costly this could be. And as just a quick quote here, Barack Obama said that a nation that can't control its energy sources can't control its future. And I feel that's the same for our organisation. So we must view energy as a threat to our organisation. We must have a change in mindset. So what we can do though is invest in renewable energy in our main location. We can devote funds to research, solar, wind and geothermal, to conduct studies to see exactly how much money we can save and how much we can stop our dependency on non-renewable energy sources. So right now, 5 years ago, this presentation would have been a lot harder, as the technology wouldn't have advanced so much and the costs haven't reduced so much. So right now, the technology is advanced. For instance, the wind power there. Right now, that's about 4% of the total US supply of energy, which is a little bit misleading because the US is the largest producer of energy. But that 4% is actually more than Australia, Mexico, or Saudi Arabia produce on their own. So the technology is definitely there. Right now it costs about 2 cents a watt for that wind turbine. That's actually lower than any non-renewable source of energy. The cost reduction, one of those wind turbines is actually costing about $2 million. That has actually gone down to roughly at least about $500,000. And what has happened is manufacturers are actually willing to take the cost savings you're going to take and take a percentage of that money away from you, but they'll pay for the initial wind turbine. So the initial upfront costs have dramatically decreased. So it's now a viable alternative for a medium-sized company like ours. So I just want you all to imagine a year from now, we're sitting in this building and there is, we are now powered by a non-renewable source. So what I think the benefits of that scenario is that we're going to reduce our short-term energy costs. We're going to know exactly how much we're going to be paying at any point in time, because we have reduced our dependence by 50 to about 90% on non-renewable energy sources. Would have stabilised long-term costs. We'll no longer be subjected to those huge upward curves or the downward peaks. And it also will allow us to remain competitive. If our competitors invest now, they will have doubled, they will have stabilised their energy costs, whereas we won't have. And we have always said that we have a CSR strategy, and this will allow us to conform to that strategy, actually allow us to do the things that we said we were going to do. And this will also reduce our negative impact on the environment. So just to conclude, there is definitely a need for the change in mindset. We can no longer think that energy is abundant and cheap. There must be a change. It's volatile and it's going to be costly. Renewable energy offers an alternative way that we can solve this issue. Thank you.
Feedback for Bill?
I think you set the stage in the beginning, just giving us a little breakdown about where the board of directors. So that was good. And I liked your intro. You defined renewable energy versus non-renewable energy. Kind of told us what our company was, that we're relying on non-renewable right now, and then we have a need for change. So you really set the problem in the beginning. I saw that slide. I think you had too many words on it. I know last time you had a similar slide like that, but I think you identified the problem pretty well, and it was easy to relate to. You explained that the market changed and everything like that. You had good statistics, and it sounded like you knew what you were talking about. I didn't see you looking back at the slides too often, so you definitely did your work there. I wish some of the statistics might have been on the slide, so we could kind of just have a visual. I think the chart was good to show just the drastic change from the low end to the high end. What else? And at the solution, I think you seemed very passionate about it. You talked about the cost reductions, and then at the end with the scenario, I like that you kind of gave us a look into the future. You said, imagine a year from now, and then you told us the benefits and how it would change. And then your conclusion was definitely, I really liked it, the need for change, and then you just had a good ending statement there. Good job.
Anybody else want to add?
I thought at the beginning when you were doing your introduction, you're like,
you made it clear, I'm not here, I'm a green person, but I'm here to talk to you about business today. So